Vomitrocious is the first segment in the 5th episode of the 8th season of Arthur. I can't say that word without hearing it in Muffy's voice. But it's actually Francine who's at the centre of this story. She's making fun of George one day in the cafeteria at school. George has got a bleeding nose, and while she's in the middle of making fun of him, she just randomly throws up. She's got a stomach bug, and she's paranoid that when she goes back to school, everybody's going to make fun of her. Why wouldn't they? She was in the middle of making fun of George while she threw up, and throwing up is worse than having a bleeding nose. And she goes to school and she begins to become so obsessed with the idea that people are making fun of her and laughing at her that everywhere she looks, she sees people whispering about her. She thinks people are, but Buster gives her a little brown paper bag and she thinks it's a barf bag. And she becomes really obsessed with this idea that people are out to get her. And it's all about the emotions she goes through and the embarrassment she feels. But what's more important here are the messages. Yes, there's an element of relatability. I think every child at school fears they're going to throw up in front of their classmates. Many of us have thrown up at school before, and it's not embarrassing. It's not great. It is embarrassing and not something any of us wish to relive. But the messages here are not really about how to deal with that. That's an element of it, but the message is that you shouldn't make fun of other people for any reason, but particularly if they have a bleeding nose or if they vomit, because it's just not nice and you won't achieve anything. It takes Francine a while, and spoilers from now, I'll discuss what happens towards the end of the episode. Francine realizes that people make fun of George because he's unpopular. They don't make fun of her for throwing up because she is popular. And that's what it comes down to. And she actually stands up for George. And it's just a wonderful moment where she kind of says George isn't the gross one, we're the gross ones for making fun of him for having a bleeding nose. And it's such a lovely moment and a great teaching moment as well, where she realizes that George obviously feels uncomfortable and it's not nice to make fun of people, and she's quickly realized that herself. So she goes on a real little character journey as she begins to experience all kinds of emotions that she wasn't aware of before. And I think the message is delivered very clearly. Whenever Francine is the one delivering a message, you know it's clearly done because she's feisty and she says exactly what she's thinking, and that's what we get here. So it's relatable, but it's also got a really important message too. It's definitely a really good episode.